Stranger Things is full of shocking character deaths, from Bob's heroic sacrifice in Season 2 to Eddie's brutal death in Season 4. I'll be ranking the characters most likely to die in the final season, starting with the one who definitely won't survive. Let's start with the obvious. Vecna has to die. He's the face of the Upside Down's terror, the most powerful villain we've seen in the series, and the one pulling every string since Season 1. Stranger Things has always ended each major arc by defeating its central threat, the Demogorgon in Season 1, the Mind Flayer in Season 3. This time, the entire story revolves around taking down Vecna once and for all. Season 4 proved he's not untouchable. Max fought back.
What are you doing in here, Max?
Nancy pumped him full of shotgun blasts, and 11, at her absolute peak, nearly killed him before he barely escaped. Those moments cracked his invincible image and showed the gang they might actually have a chance in Season 5. But here's the catch. Killing Vecna isn't going to be easy. He's connected to the Upside Down in ways no one else is, and his death could come with devastating consequences. If ending him also means collapsing the entire dimension, who's caught in that crossfire? We know Stranger Things loves high-stakes finales. Vecna's defeat will almost certainly demand sacrifices, and the Duffer Brothers have already teased that Season 5 will be darker and faster paced than anything we've seen, so sure, Vecna's going down. But if we've learned anything from Hawkins, it's that every monster's death comes at a price, so killing Vecna won't come without casualties, and that's where Will Byers' fate takes center stage. It all began with Will. His disappearance in Season 1 wasn't just the start of Stranger Things, it was the reason Hawkins even discovered the Upside Down. Everything traces back to him. Even after escaping, his connection never truly went away. Season 4's finale made it clear. Vecna can still sense him. That ominous shiver Will felt wasn't nothing. It was a reminder that he was still tied to that nightmare world. A lot of fans believe Will might be the key to ending it all. Some theories argue that his link to Vecna and the Upside Down could be used to destroy it permanently, but if that's true, it could also mean sacrificing himself in the process. His entire arc has been about surviving this curse. What if his final act is ending it? The numbers don't lie. Betting sites placed Will's death odds at 66.6%. Was that a creepy coincidence?
I think it's just scary.
Maybe. But it reflects what so many already suspect. His story is coming full circle, and that circle might close with him. There's something poetic about it, too. Stranger Things began with Will's disappearance pulling the group together. If his death sealed the Upside Down forever, it would bring that story full circle in a brutal but fitting way. If Stranger Things started with Will, could it end with Will? That's the question hanging over that every scene he's in, and it's one that makes every shot of him in Season 5 feel that much heavier. But if Will's death feels inevitable, then 11's sacrifice looms even larger over the final season. 1111 has cheated death before. In Season 1, she vanished after obliterating the Demogorgon, only to reappear in Season 2. Every season since, she's pushed herself past her limits, taking hit after hit to save her friends. But each battle leaves her weaker, and fans wonder how long she can keep paying that price. There's a growing theory that 11 might need to die alongside Vecna to close the gate forever. It makes sense. Her powers are linked to the Upside Down's energy. If Vecna goes down, maybe she has to go with him. It's the ultimate save-the-world sacrifice, and it's the kind of ending Stranger Things would dare to pull. We've seen her powers drain her before.
What happened?
In Season 3, she lost them completely for a while. What if Season 5 pushes her to a point where she can't recover? Some think she'll survive but lose her powers, finally free to live like a normal girl. Others believe she'll give everything in one final blow. Imagine Mike watching her give everything she's got one last time before losing her. Mike's reaction to that alone would destroy fans. Their relationship has always been a core part of her story. Watching him lose her again would be devastating. If 11 dies, it won't be quiet. It'll be big, emotional, and final. And it might be exactly what it takes to end Hawkins' nightmare once and for all. Yet while 11 may be the hero, no character's death would hurt more than Steve. Steve Harrington wasn't supposed to be this important. He started as the cocky jock, but somewhere between babysitting Dustin and fighting demo dogs, he became everyone's favorite. Mom Steve is the heart of this group now, which is exactly why fans are terrified for him. The rumors aren't helping. Leaked on-set audio supposedly caught Will screaming, "Steve, you need to run," in a scene fans believe could be his last. Combine that with his constant selfless heroics, and it feels like Stranger Things is setting him up for the ultimate sacrifice. His arc has redemption death written all over it.
I'm not even at the hard part yet.
He's redeemed himself 100 times over since Season 1, and his bond with Dustin alone makes him a prime candidate for a gut-wrenching farewell. Imagine Steve dies saving Dustin, passing the torch to the kid he basically raised through all this chaos. Eddie's death in Season 4 hit hard because he died proving himself. Steve's death would hit even harder because he already has. He doesn't need to prove anything, he'd just do it anyway. If Steve dies, it won't just be sad. It'll be the moment that breaks Hawkins' heart. And honestly, I'm not sure we'd ever recover from that. And if Steve goes down swinging, Jonathan Byers might not be far behind him. Jonathan has always been the quiet one. While everyone else dives headfirst into danger, he's the steady hand. He's the guy holding it all together, looking out for Will, standing by Nancy and supporting Joyce. But sometimes, those are the characters who go out in the most heartbreaking ways. Imagine Jonathan finally stepping into the spotlight for once, not as the shy photographer, but as the one who saves them when it matters most. His death would feel unexpected, but it would pack a punch precisely because of that. It would crush Nancy. Their relationship has been rocky, but their bond is deep. Losing Jonathan could shatter her, especially if it happens while they're still figuring things out. And for Joyce, after everything she's already lost, it would be unbearable. There's also the love triangle. Steve and Jonathan have been quietly circling Nancy for seasons. Jonathan's death could end that tension instantly, pushing Nancy and Steve back together, while giving his character a tragic but noble send-off. Jonathan's quiet nature might make his death the most gut-punching of them all. He's the kind of character you don't expect to lose, until suddenly you do. But even Jonathan's loss wouldn't sting as much as seeing Hopper face his final stand. Hopper has been living on borrowed time. He nearly died in Season 3, and when we finally saw him alive in that brutal Russian prison in Season 4, it felt like a miracle. But how many times can someone cheat death in Hawkins before it finally catches up to them? His whole arc screams sacrifice. Hopper's entire story is about protecting the people he loves, from Joyce to 11, and by extension, all the kids. It's easy to picture him throwing himself in harm's way one final time if it means saving them. Even David Harbour has teased how emotional filming the finale was. Hopper's journey from broken cop to heroic father figure feels like it's heading toward one last massive moment. And what better way to close his story than for him to die to save 11. Their bond has been central since Season 2. If Hopper's final act is protecting the girl he calls his daughter, it would be devastating but perfectly fitting. He cheated death once, does he do it again? Or is this finally the end? That's the question hanging over Hopper at every time we see him now. If you're deep in this Stranger Things rabbit hole like we are, hit the subscribe button right now. So, while Hopper fights, Max's life still hangs by a thread after her coma in Season 4. Max's near death in Season 4 was one of the most painful moments in Stranger Things history. Watching her float helplessly in Vecna's curse while Kate Bush blared in the background felt like the end. Then came Lucas, crying at her hospital bedside, holding her hand as she lay in a coma. That image burned into fans' minds, making her survival feel bittersweet rather than triumphant. Her promise with Lucas, finally going on that date, still lingers. It's one of those unfinished threads that gives fans hope she'll wake up. Stranger Things doesn't usually leave stories hanging without purpose, and their romance was built slowly across seasons, only to be ripped apart in the cruelest way possible.
It was so real.
But theories are split. One side believes Max wakes up in Season 5 for one last fight, playing a key role in Vecna's downfall. The other argues her body survives, but she dies in the Upside Down, pushing Lucas and 11 into emotional overdrive to finish the battle. Both possibilities feel equally likely in this finale, where nothing is safe. Her connection to Vecna also can't be ignored. She's the only character who's truly escaped him, which might make her a target. Vecna hates losing, and Max slipping out of his grasp could make her central to his revenge. Max already beat death once. But does lightning strike twice in Hawkins? That's the question haunting everyone as Season 5 looms closer. Yet Max isn't the only one at risk, because Murray's quirky charm might not save him this time. Murray started as comic relief in Season 2, but over time he's become essential. His sharp wit, conspiracy knowledge, and loyalty to Joyce and Hopper made him stand out among the adults. He's the guy who somehow ends up torching a Demogorgon while cracking jokes, and that balance is why fans love him. But Stranger Things thrives on gut punches, and Murray's death would do exactly that. His close bond with Joyce and Hopper makes him the perfect candidate for a shocking mid-season loss that hits the older cast hardest. It would shake the adult dynamic, forcing Joyce and Hopper to confront just how dangerous this final fight really is. It's easy to imagine him dying unexpectedly, maybe stepping up in a clutch moment, using his skills to save the group, only to be taken out in the process. He's not a frontline fighter, which would make his death feel even more tragic and random, upping the sense of no one is safe as the story unfolds. Fans have laughed with Murray for seasons, but Stranger Things could easily flip that on its head in one brutal moment. He's the kind of character who gets you comfortable before the rug is ripped out. We've laughed with Murray, but is it time to cry over him? Season 5 might be where that line finally gets crossed, and as Murray fights beside them, Dr. Owens' mysterious fate could finally catch up to him. Dr. Owens walked a thin line in Season 4. He helped 11 regain her powers, but also worked under Brenner's shadow, enabling experiments that harmed her. His last known moment left him trapped underground during Project Nina's collapse, his fate unclear. No death scene, no body, which in Stranger Things terms means he's probably alive for now. Fans see two paths for him, redemption or a poetic justice. Owens could redeem himself by protecting 11 when it matters most, sacrificing himself to undo some of the damage his choices caused. It would give closure to his arc, and show he was always trying, even if his methods failed. On the other hand, he could meet a darker end. Stranger Things has no issue punishing morally gray characters, and Owens' complicity with Brenner's work leaves him vulnerable to a fitting downfall, dying at the hands of the very threat he helped create. If he does reappear, his knowledge of Hawkins' lab could make him key to understanding how to defeat Vecna, but that also paints a target on his back, especially if the military is still involved and sees him as a liability. Owens may not be pure evil, but Stranger Things loves poetic endings. His could be one of them. But Owens isn't the only wild card. Robin Buckley's fearless loyalty could be her undoing. Robin has been a burst of energy since she joined in Season 3. Her wit, bravery, and bond with Steve made her instantly beloved. She proved herself fearless in the Season 4 finale, joining Nancy and Steve in attacking Vecna's lair. But Maya Hawke's own comments about Robin possibly getting an honorable death stirred up fan anxiety big time. Robin's loyalty is unmatched. She's the kind of character who throws herself into danger for her friends, and that trait often spells trouble in Hawkins. If she dies, it wouldn't be random. It would be in a bold and heroic move that saves the others. Her death would also unite the group emotionally. Nancy and Robin's growing friendship would add another layer of devastation, especially with how Robin's openness about her sexuality and fear of rejection gave her one of the show's most grounded arcs. The Duffers know Robin is loved, which is exactly why fans are paranoid. Stranger Things has a habit of using that attachment against us. Would the Duffers really kill Robin? Or is Maya's quote just a massive misdirect to keep us guessing? And if Robin's bravery shakes us, Erica Sinclair's risk-taking might hit even harder. Erica was never supposed to be more than Lucas's snarky little sister, but by Season 3 she was full-on part of the gang. Her sass, confidence, and hilarious one-liners make her a fan favorite. She's younger than the rest, which is exactly why her death would hit harder than almost anyone else's. Stranger Things hasn't crossed that line yet, but Season 5 is its last chance to prove just how dark it can get.
That's a bunch of bull.
Erica!
Losing Erica would be the kind of shocking, jaw-dropping move that changes everything. It would also destroy Lucas. He's already fragile from Max's condition. If Erica is ripped away too, it would push him to the edge, fueling his fight against Vecna with pure grief and rage. Her humor has always been a bright spot in the darkness. Taking that away would strip Hawkins of one of its last pieces of innocence, signaling that the final season isn't holding anything back. If Erica dies, Hawkins breaks. That's how much she matters. But nothing would feel more devastating than Vecna's vision of Karen Wheeler becoming reality. Karen Wheeler has always been in the background. She has always been the mom who's clueless about most of what's really happening. But in Season 4, Nancy's vision of Karen's corpse during Vecna's hallucinations planted a terrifying seed. It's the kind of foreshadowing Stranger Things rarely drops without payoff. Parental deaths haven't been explored much in the show, and Season 5 could change that in a huge way. Killing Karen, or even Ted, would shake Mike and Nancy's family to its core, forcing them to face not just losing friends, but their actual home life collapsing. Karen's death would also heighten Mike's desperation. Losing his mom on top of everything else could push him further into the fight, adding weight to his already central bond with 11. The Wheelers have been oddly untouched compared to other families in Hawkins. Season 5 might finally shatter that illusion of safety and leave them reeling. What happens if Season 5 leaves the Wheelers as orphans? That possibility alone makes Karen's foreshadowed fate too big to ignore, and with every theory pointing toward heartbreak, all that's left is asking who won't survive Hawkins' final fight. We all know one thing is clear. Hawkins is burning, Vecna is falling, and not everyone makes it out alive. The Duffers have promised an ending that hits like nothing before, and with a finale titled The Right Side Up, it sounds like life in Hawkins might finally return to normal, but only after devastating losses. Who do you think dies in Season 5? Steve? 11? Or someone we didn't even see coming? Because if Stranger Things has taught us anything, it's that no one in Hawkins is ever truly safe.